Hello. You're muted, but I felt your greetings in my heart.
Yeah, I thought I was talking to you.
Hi, everybody.
You the
Miss
only
Ratio. Hey, Miss Newton.
Hello.
committee- Look like you're the only committee member at this point.
At present, yes.
Hi, Mr. Livingston.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. I had to look at my participants. It's more people. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, Miss English.
Hi, Miss English.
Hey.
Miss Mountain House didn't think she'd make it, so I guess we're waiting on Miss McBride.
Mr. Chair, while we wait, if there comes a point where you would like for me to call the meeting to order, then we can do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll give it 2 more minutes to 2:05, and then we'll just call the meeting. You'll need to call the meeting.
Miss English, it looks like, oh, never mind. I was going to say it looked like you said, let there be light, but then it, it's 2:05, Mr. Chair.
Why don't you go ahead and call the meeting to order? Compared to those who are here.
All righty. Well, welcome everyone. It is 2:05 on Tuesday, March 9th. We're here for the Employee Evaluation and Oversight Committee. We do have a quorum, but we'll do roll call in a minute. I hereby call the meeting to order. Miss Only or Miss Black, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Malinowski, McBride, Mackey,
Here.
English,
Here.
Newton.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. The next item of business is the adoption of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second? I'll second it for discussion. Is there any discussion about the agenda? Then I will just make one note that item 5, clerk to council candidates review and recommendation is a personnel matter and will require executive session to have that conversation. So I just wanted to note that now for the public. Is there any additional discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, Miss Only, will you call the roll?
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 3, the approval of the minutes, items A through E, which happen to be meetings for which I don't know if any of the other members present on the committee were here for, but I will entertain a motion for those minutes. Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve items 3A through 3E. Is there a second?
I wasn't there for all of them.
You may still second the minutes if you would like, but as you were not present, if you don't wish to do so, the motion will die for lack of a second. And it's something that we could take up at a subsequent meeting.
Since I wasn't there, I don't feel comfortable. I'm sorry.
No problem, I understand. So that motion dies for lack of a second. So we can take up the item of the approval of the minutes at our next meeting. That brings us to item 4, the election of the chair, and I will entertain nominations. We got a call-in nomination. If it pleases the committee, I would be happy to continue to serve as chair. But the floor is open right now for nominations.
And let me, Ms. Newton, just for the record, just in case someone wonder why I'm not voting, let me remind them, I'm not a member of the committee any longer. So that's why I'm not voting, just in case someone wonders. The other 2 members of the committee that are not present is Mr. Malinowski and Ms. McBride. That makes up the 5-member committee.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. So I guess I will nominate myself. Are there any additional nominations for chair? All right, so there's one nomination for chair, Shakese Newton. Miss Only, will you call the roll, please?
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 5 on our agenda, which is the clerk to council candidates review recommendation. As I mentioned at the beginning of our meeting, this is a personnel matter, and it is appropriate for us to go into executive session to discuss confidential personnel matters, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank
I
you.
can-
And I don't have my participants list up now. I do. We have a motion to go into executive session. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Miss Only, will you call the roll, please?
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Then with that, if you will open up a breakout session for executive session and include our colleagues, Mr. Livingston and Ms. Teresa, and and Ms. Barron, and any other council members who aren't on the committee who joined us. We are mostly back. I'm waiting for 2 additional colleagues to join us. We had entered executive session to discuss a personnel matter and to discuss the candidates for the clerk to council position. It looks like most of us are back in the meeting. I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session. Miss English, if you were making a motion, you were muted.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded out of executive session. Miss Only, will you call the roll?
I think I'm here. Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Miss McBride was there she is. Miss McBride was also with us in executive session, and it looks like she has just joined us here. Miss McBride, we just took a vote to come out of executive session. Can you hear us? Okay. Miss Only, did the motion carry?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So again, we entered executive session to discuss candidates for the clerk to council position so that we can forward recommendations to full council for consideration. I will entertain a motion. Hearing none, I move that we, did I hear someone? Okay, I move that we refer candidates to full council for discussion at our next meeting in the following order. Candidates A and B tied in for first place, followed by candidate D and candidate C. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to forward the names of these 4 candidates to council for consideration. Any discussion? Miss Only, will you call the roll?
McBride,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 6, the process for hiring the county attorney. Briefly, you probably are tired of emails you've received from me on the subject. You may recall that last year, full council gave this committee the authority to choose the process and the path forward for structuring our search for a county attorney, pardon me. And the options that we discussed, of course, are that we can always use our internal process to hire an attorney. We can also use an external search firm. And we discussed individually as well as through email the 3 search firms that are currently on state contract, should we desire to use one of those. Again, this committee does have the authority to act. We were vested with that authority for full council. With that, I will open the floor for discussion on how you would like to proceed in terms of a process to search for a county attorney. Ms.
Ms.
Mackey,
Newton? Yes.
you're recognized.
Thank you. I would like to move forward with a search firm that we already have approved to get the process started.
Thank you, Ms. Mackey. And I'll remind our colleagues, there are 3 firms that are on state contract. There is Coleman Liu, there's Find Great People, and there's Randy Frank. And I sent information out to you last year, or at some point, we had our procurement officer reach out to all 3 firms and have them come back to us with their experience recruiting attorneys. We did not receive a response from Coleman Liu, but their basic bio was attached. We also heard from Find Great People, who managed the search for the county administrator, as well as Randy Frank. This Randy Frank was the only firm that indicated prior experience placing attorneys with local governments of the firms that responded to us on state contract. So I share that for your information. Is there any additional discussion? Mr. Livingston?
Wasn't there some costs associated with each one of them too in terms of their service?
There was, and I sent, I sent a few emails. The email that I happen to be looking at right now was an email dated January 22nd, but each firm does have a fee that is required. Most of them require a deposit, and then that deposit is applied to the total fee for the engagement. For your information, for Coleman Liu, the fee to initiate the search is $13,000, and the fee is a percentage of the first year salary at 31%. For Find Great People, it's a $1,500 fee to initiate and 20% of the first year salary. And again, that deposit is applied towards the total fee that we pay them. And then Randy Frank was a $15,000 fee to initiate the search, and then a 20% of the first year salary as the fee. Did that address your question, Mr. Livingston?
Yes.
And Ms. McBride, I don't know if you wanted to say anything. There was briefly a green box over your name. So I wanted to make sure you had the opportunity.
I do. I would like to say something. I want to make sure that, and I've tried to push for this in everything that we do on county council, that there is an inclusive process, and that when we search, we make sure that we do the type of search that will be at least halfway representative of the population here in Richland County for the applicants coming in. And I'm cautious in saying this, but I think in some of our applicants applying, we missed the diversity level that was needed. And I'm also concerned that we not get stuck on using one company and then not have the opportunity to use others. So those are my concerns, being able to diversify what we're doing and making sure that we have a really good pool of applicants coming in. Even from the last positions we had, I had concerns with the applicants that we have and the diversity that was included.
Thank you, Ms. McBride. Are there other comments or questions?
Who did we use with the clerk to council?
For the clerk to council, Ms. English, as well as for the county administrator, we used Find Great People.
Okay.
And I believe that the administration office also used Find Great People when we recently hired our ACA. There is a search that is going on for our assessor, which is using a different firm. That firm is Baker Tilly. They are not on state contract, so that would require a separate procurement. And then again, Randy Frank, of the firms that responded, Randy Frank was the only firm that indicated, I'm looking at my notes here, that indicated that they had worked to place attorneys in other local government. And I believe that that also includes the city attorneys for Greenville, South Carolina, Thornton, Colorado, Fort Collins, Colorado, as well as several others. And that was the Randy Frank firm.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Livingston?
Was that the one that wanted the initial $50,000 fee and the 20% salary also?
Yes, Mr. Livingston. And again, my impression, and we can confirm this again with procurement, is that that is a deposit that we make, but that fee is applied towards the the percentage of first year salary that we pay. It's just that they have a higher upfront cost.
Is that the same as with Fine Great People?
It is a different amount. Find Great People has a lower deposit amount to initiate the search, and then they apply that towards the first year salary.
But theirs is 31% versus 20%, right?
No, ma'am. Find Great People is 20%, and Randy Frank is 20%.
Oh, okay.
Coleman Liu, which is the firm that did not respond to procurement when procurement reached out to ask about their specific attorney experience, that was the firm that charged 31%.
Okay, thank you.
But are you saying that with the initial fee that they would do, that would be taken into, let me see, the calculations of the initial fee would be used as part of the 20%?
That is my understanding, but Ms. McBride, to be absolutely clear, if we were going to have a motion on this, I would love for the motion to stipulate confirmation of that fact.
Thank you.
Is there any additional discussion?
Just make sure I heard what you said about. Now, Randy Frank is all the state contract, correct?
Correct.
And they're the only one that actually have said they actually have hired attorneys?
Correct. So all of the firms have experience working with local government and municipalities. Randy Frank, however, was the only firm that specifically responded to us, and that information is in the email, in terms of attorney searches. And they listed several attorney placements for several city attorneys, in addition to their regular government agency searches.
Madam Chair,
Ms. McBride?
I really think that we need someone that has experience with locating or doing a search for attorneys. Just from some of the past work that's done, I am not only about inclusiveness, I'm still concerned about the type of applicants that we receive. And even with our clerk to council, the qualifications, I don't think we're getting the type, in my opinion, the quality of candidates that are out there that we should be reviewing. So I'm thinking in terms of getting somebody with experience in the legal area as we move forward. And if Randy Frank says that experience, then I think we maybe need to consider that.
I am happy to entertain a motion.
Okay. Are we going to, let me get the motion clear. Are we going to recommend this back to full council?
So
Or do we have the authority to move forward?
we have the authority to move forward, Ms. McBride. That was voted on by full council last year.
Okay, thank you. I move that we initiate contracting with Randy Frank's, I don't know whether it's association or incorporation, or
LLC.
Randy Frank's company, in terms of conducting a search for us for an attorney.
We have a motion to engage Randy Frank Consulting LLC for our attorney search. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded.
Livingston, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Livingston, I was going to call for discussion and also offer a friendly amendment.
Can we, instead of saying definitely hire them, can we just simply say something short of that to at least have them to submit something to us, and then we decide on that basis, as opposed to deciding ahead of time? And then ask for some kind of proposal or something from them, as opposed to saying we're going to hire them. Since they're going to be new and we haven't worked with them before, I might want a little, it might be good to have just a little bit more information before you definitely say you're going to hire them.
I think it was said negotiate.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so that way,
I think it said negotiate.
Okay.
I didn't hear that word.
Okay. And we when procurement reached out to them, Mr. Livingston, they did submit information that was shared, and I can share that information again. But Ms. McBride, I apologize if I inexpertly repeated your motion. If
I'm not sure. I thought I mentioned negotiate, but we could easily just change, do the amendment to change.
I was going to ask Miss McBride and Ms. Mackey if you would accept a friendly amendment to that motion, that we open negotiations with Randy Frank Consulting LLC for our county attorney search.
Yes, ma'am.
Provided that we also confirm that the deposit is applied towards the total fee.
Excellent amendment. Yes, I accept.
Ms. Mackey, as the seconder of the motion, do you accept that amendment?
Yes.
Thank you. I will try to repeat this then. It has been moved and properly seconded that the council open negotiations with Randy Frank Consulting LLC for our county attorney search, provided that we can confirm that the deposit amount is applied towards the total search fee. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Only, will you call the roll?
McBride,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we need to reconsider that motion?
Move for reconsideration.
I'll second that. Ms. Only, will you call the roll for reconsideration?
McBride,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. That brings us to the final item on our agenda today, which is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Ms. Only, will you call the roll?
McBride,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.